Hello, welcome to the Speculation Lab. In Japan, there's a term called NEET, which refers to young people who stay at home and don't work. This description fits our protagonist, BNF, perfectly before he turned 21. Yet, in an unexpected turn of events, this young man, who once spent his days aimlessly, emerged as one of Japan's premier investment gurus in just a few years. BNF, who came from an ordinary background and wasn't much of a social butterfly, rarely showed emotions on his face. He wasn't great at expressing himself, and after repeating a year, he barely managed to get into university only to drop out later. It was during his university years that he stumbled upon the internet and stock trading, which completely transformed his life. At 21, he embarked on his trading journey with a modest capital of 1.6 million yen. By 25, his net worth skyrocketed to 8 billion yen. At 26, during the infamous JCOM mistaken order event, he made a stunning 2 billion yen in just 10 minutes. This incident also brought to light CAS, another legendary individual investor who earned a profit of 600 million yen. In the following years, BNF went on a real estate spree, acquiring multiple properties in prime areas like Akihabara and Shibuya in Tokyo, now valued at astronomical prices. BNF's remarkable transformation from an unassuming NEET to a billionaire tycoon took just over a decade. BNF's real name is Takashi Kotegawa. He was born in 1978 in an ordinary family in Chiba Prefecture, Japan. After spending a year as a ronin, a student studying for university entrance exams, he got into a private university's law school. During his college days, he got his first taste of the then-emerging internet and learned about online stock trading. He was a huge admirer of the American genius speculator Victor Niederhofer, and thus he adopted BNF from Niederhofer's initials as his online moniker. The year 2000 was significant for Japan as it marked the beginning of commission deregulation. This policy allowed financial institutions to set their own fees for stock transactions, and it was also the year when online trading really started to take off. At the age of 21, BNF started his trading career with 1.6 million yen he had saved from part-time jobs. In his first 6 months, BNF, relying on self-taught knowledge, opted for long-term investments, adhering to conventional wisdom. However, Japan at the time had already ended its economic boom of the 80s and was entering the lost decade with a collapsing stock market and stagnant economic growth. Furthermore, the bursting of the internet bubble across the ocean caused a steep fall in the stock prices of many related Japanese companies, worsening their financial conditions. In such a bear market, his investments inevitably faced defeat, and his funds quickly shrank to half. Despite his initial confidence, BNF faced a significant setback. Reflecting on this period later, he said, "If my funds had halved then, I think I would have lost my motivation. Losing 100 million yen now would be less damaging than that experience." Subsequently, BNF adjusted his strategy and switched to short-term trading, holding positions for a period ranging from 1 day to a week. This approach rapidly increased his assets to 100 million yen within 3 years. What was the secret behind this success? Firstly, BNF primarily employed a contrarian investment strategy. The legendary investor John Templeton once said, "Bull markets are born on pessimism." Between 2000 and 2003, as the internet bubble burst, global stock markets entered a bear phase and many investors suffered substantial losses, leading to widespread pessimism. BNF realized that markets often overreact in the short term, causing asset prices to deviate from their intrinsic values. He identified undervalued assets in the market, bought them at low prices, and profited when their prices returned to rational levels. Contrarian investing, which involves making money based on market biases, is a highly challenging game. It requires maintaining optimism, not following the herd, and dedicating a lot of time to research. BNF was extremely cautious, knowing that one wrong move in trying to time the market bottom could lead to disastrous consequences. In his contrarian investments, BNF mainly analyzed the deviation rate of the past 25-day moving average of stocks. The greater the deviation, the better the buying opportunity. The deviation rate of the moving average line informs about the difference between the price and its moving average, helping to determine if the market trend is normal or if prices have deviated from regular levels. For example, if a stock's moving average over a certain period is 100 yen and its current price is 120 yen, it implies a 20 yen deviation from the moving average, resulting in a 20% deviation rate. When this figure exceeds a set threshold, it suggests that the price has surpassed normal levels and the market may need adjustment, signaling the need for caution regarding risk. BNF believed that the acceptable deviation rates for entry varied depending on the industry. These were the benchmark numbers he compiled at the time for his entry criteria. In the initial stages of capital accumulation, BNF adhered to principles, engaging only in cash transactions and avoiding short selling or leverage trades. He believed that leverage increased the risk of investment loss and could lead to more significant difficulties, so he prioritized risk control over expanding profits. In 2003, BNF changed his trading methods. With the introduction of Koizumi's reforms and the recovery of the global economy, the Japanese stock market generally began to rise, and the contrarian trading method he had relied on started to lose its effectiveness. He keenly observed that in a bad market, many investors sell off, allowing contrarian trades to buy low and profit. However, as market conditions improved, it became harder to find such buying opportunities. So he changed his trading strategy once again. Due to this change, his assets skyrocketed from 100 million yen at the end of 2002 to 8 billion yen by the end of 2005. Let's take a look at his trading methods during this period. Firstly, adaptability was key. While contrarian strategies are beneficial in a sluggish market, in a strong market, it's best to go with the trend. Each approach has its own trading style. BNF himself admitted he didn't have a talent for day trading, saying he would get too caught up in the price movements. In trend-following trades, he often chose overnight trades, holding 30 to 50 stocks daily, checking for profits or cutting losses the next morning, and then seeking out the next strong stock. In stock selection, BNF made profits by trend trading stocks that were relatively underperforming within their sectors. Easier said than done, as the amount of information about related stocks is vast. For example, in the steel industry, if major stocks like Sumitomo Metal or Nippon Steel start rising with the Nikkei average, it might signal an upcoming rally. BNF usually bought multiple stocks. This diversified the risk in case stock movements went contrary to expectations, enabling him to achieve overall profit targets. In the 2005 JCOM mistaken order incident, BNF became instantly famous. By then, he was already a billionaire. During 2006, he started appearing frequently in the media, and many were curious about his luxurious lifestyle, but they were greatly surprised. He had never traveled abroad, his main mode of transportation was a bicycle, and his most common meal was instant ramen. His clothes were purchased from a nearby supermarket, and most of his daily necessities came from the dollar store. In front of the camera, he was expressionless, intently staring at the screen and quickly placing orders, seemingly not even listening to questions. He said, "I don't enjoy spending money and am not particularly interested in it. I don't really know how to spend it. In a way, it's like I made money in a game." In a talk show, he also mentioned, "Seeing cash makes me cautious in investing. I try not to look at cash, so I don't feel like I actually have it." Afterward, this genius investor gradually faded from public view, leaving behind only the legend of an investment god to be passed down. BNF shared many investment tips, each worth remembering, but let me leave you with one of my favorites. Don't miss out on more profitable trading content. Please hit the subscribe button. I wish you a good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Goodbye.